Last question, favorite thing about school?
Math.
Ah, nice. Really? Very interesting. How about you?
I like math and recess and lunch.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, we have little thank yous for you for coming out tonight and sharing your beautiful voices and talking with us a little bit after the meeting. It's always our favorite part of the meeting. So these are fun little squishy stars for you, stars, and these can go on your fridge or wherever you would like it in your home. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, families, for bringing them, and have a great holiday and a nice year. Bye-bye.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Good job.
We're going to move right to public comments. And I know we've at least one person who has signed up to speak, so, and since it's only, give me 1 second if you don't mind. I just wanted to read about public comments, just so you, I assume you know already, but I'll just read it anyway. So the Board of Education invites you, members of our community, to feel comfortable in sharing matters of interest or concern that you might have. Concerns raised during public comments will not be responded to or discussed during the meeting. Those items brought to the attention of the board during this time may be taken under consideration in future responsive action. We ask that you refrain from discussing specific personnel or students. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and the total time of this portion of the agenda will be limited to 15 minutes, and I will be the timekeeper, so I have an alarm on my phone that will go off. Please be advised that members of the audience record you and us during public comments, and please begin by stating your name and the name of the school district you reside in for the record. So I have Brian Mahoney. Ready? Thank you. So come on up, and after you say your name and your district, I'll start the timer.
Thanks, Jeannie. That was all consistent with the email that you sent me, and I did meet with Connie Russell as you suggested. So
Great.
So my name is Brian Mahoney. I live in the city of Canandaigua with my family, my wife and my son. I'm here to talk about the special education program and specifically at the middle school. My son Benson, he's at the primary elementary school, and he has an autism spectrum disorder diagnosis, and he's mostly nonverbal. I want to emphasize that he and his classmates get really excellent care at the primary elementary school. He's in Alice Benz's class. He's formed a real bond with his teachers and his classmates. So we're grateful every day for this district's focus on special education. Truly, there is an issue. It's not directly impacting Benson yet, but it will. That I want to bring the board's attention to. As I said, Benson's, his needs are being very well met at the primary elementary school. He's in a 12-1-1 program. It's 12 students, one teacher, and one teacher student. You don't know that, I'm sure. The middle school, there's two 12-1-1 programs at the primary elementary school. The middle school has two 12-1-1 programs, and high school has two 12-1-1 programs. So we've got consistency from primary elementary school all the way through high school, which is fantastic. However, there's at least 3 families that are in Benson's class. These are all students that are about 2 years older than Benson. So I'm looking to the future for Benson, but it's an urgent issue now. And they've been informed that the middle school, due to the level of support that these children require, will not be able to meet their needs. But they've been told that the high school is expected that the high school will be able to meet their needs. This has left these other parents who aren't here tonight. I'll certainly invite them to join me at future board meetings to discuss this issue. Left without a plan for this next year. It's very urgent for them. It's less urgent for Benson, although it's important for Benson, but it's like an urgent, serious problem for them because they can't get their children into the school of Holy Child or Mary Carriola or any of the programs because candidly the school district didn't flag this as being an issue to them until this year. So there was, there hasn't really been planning for these students as they sort of move through the pipeline. So I emailed the board to flag this issue, and Jeannie gave me the great advice to reach out to Tanya Russell. Tanya was very responsive. I had a meeting with her and the other affected families about 2 days later. But what we weren't able to determine at that meeting is why the middle school has please ask the question, why can the primary elementary school serve them, why can the high school serve them, but the middle school can't?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Was there anyone else who wanted to make a comment at the podium? We will move on to minutes that we have on our agenda. I'll ask for motions, please. Jen, and second. Julianne, questions or comments? All in favor? That carries, thank you. And warrants, I'll move on Jen's behalf, and
I'll second.
great questions or comments? All in favor? That carries also, thank you. Tracy, welcome, will you turn your mic on before you present? Thank you so much.
Is it working?
Okay, I'll try to do it quickly because I have a lot to say. Sorry.
Oh, we love it.
The December Renaissance Culture Challenge that we're doing in student government in hopes to win the $500 is centered around brain breaks in the classroom. So right now we're like focusing on the high school's like Create and Connect program that we do every Fridays, and it's a little craft every week where during lunch periods students can go in and wind down and relax from the school day and just have fun and create. Also for student government, we went to the Hun Cemetery on December 14th and participated in the Wreath Across America, where we placed wreaths on the headstones of veterans. For NHS, we did a canned food drive for Cleaner's Kitchen that is still going on, and we just wrapped up Toys for Tots, and that was really exciting. We collected about 3 boxes the size of me. We were really excited about that. We partnered for Key Club, and I don't know who the winner is yet, but they get more than the big tray of cookies. Also, the Prism concert's coming up, and that's a really big deal, and I suggest that everyone go to that because everybody worked really hard, and it sounded really great when you practiced this morning. So thank you. That's all I have.
Great, thank you so much. I don't have anything.
We have to switch the order, because I don't want to follow Macy
I
anymore.
know.
Good at this. I'll say 2 fairly quick things. One is the RPO concert as well. I wanted to point that out. That's something that Rotary puts on each year, and it directly benefits our school and different organizations in the community. This year's RPO was a little different, and a lot of people entered the RPO season with a little bit of anxiety, because what it had been in the past is our high school chorus students singing alongside the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra. And our music teachers decided, let's try something different this year. You know, we have this beautiful orchestra here, but our students who perform instruments never get the chance to play with them. And so it started with our band students side by side with the Philharmonic Orchestra, and literally sitting side by side in chairs and performing. And then it transitions to our strings students performing side by side with the orchestra a number of songs. Then the RPO did a few songs on their own. And then we brought in a community chorus group, which was adults in the community and students within the school, about 30 or 40 students, who kind of closed it out with the traditional Christmas songs and things of the season. And I'll tell you, it exceeded everybody's expectations. Everybody felt like the traditional RPO was something so special and unique, that this met that, if not exceeded it. It was just different, and everyone just had a great time. It was just beautiful music. So if you've never been to an RPO concert, I would encourage you to do so. Macy, were you in the RPO concert or not? No, not this year. Okay. It really was fantastic. And what I hear from kids all the time that perform in it is, they can't believe they're performing side by side with a professional musician, and what a unique experience that is. So that was just a fantastic concert, full house, and of course every time it snows, and every time I'm worried about people leaving and the sidewalks and how slippery it is. And so thank you to our facilities crew for shoveling, plowing, salting constantly through that evening, because we got quite a bit of snow that night. It seems every year it happens. So that was the RPO. The other thing is, I just wanted to publicly thank our community for supporting the revitalization capital project that was voted on a couple weeks ago. It was supported overwhelmingly so by about 73% from our community voters. And so we're excited about that. Last Friday, several of us at this table sat with our architects, engineers, and construction management firm to look at the scope of the project and the timing of the project. Just for everybody's awareness, just because it passed a few weeks ago doesn't mean we put a shovel in the ground anytime soon. It's going to be a year and a half at least before that happens. We have to do a design phase, and we have stakeholder groups. So for example, we're doing new tennis courts, so we don't just decide what the tennis courts look like. We bring in our tennis coach and people within our tennis community to help us design. We do that with everything we do. You know, we bring in stakeholder groups that have expertise in that area and a vested interest in that area to help us design it. So we do the design phase. And then we have to go to the state education department for approvals, and they have stringent processes that they will ask questions and we'll have to respond to before we get state approval. And then we have to go to bid. And so all of that takes time, and it'll be a good year and a half before anything actually starts happening. And I've shared before, there's 2 phases, and people have asked me, okay, really what they're asking is, will my kid be able to play on the baseball and softball field? That's what they've been pretty blunt about. They want their kids to be able to play on these new facilities. And I've been able to tell them all along, I really don't know. We don't know what the phasing is going to look like. On Friday, we did dive into what we believe to be some of the phasing. And just for the board's reminder, we can only spend, I'm just gonna use real basic terminology here. We can only expend so much money at each site around the district. And once you hit that cap, you can't spend any more money there until some of that's retired. And then you can start. So we have to phase it properly because we just came out of a project. So essentially, everything we talked about doing in this next project, all of it will be done in phase 1, except for the baseball, softball, the turf facilities, and potentially as an alternate, resurfacing the track. Right, Brian, did I miss anything?
And turf field.
In the turf field. So all the turf, all of that would be phase 2. And phase 2 we think would be done by the end of 2028. So hopefully November, December of 2028, that'll be closed out for the most part at that point. So folks that might know anybody in the softball, baseball, or tennis program, if you know they graduate after 2028, they'll get to use it. And as I walked into a classroom the other day, one student who had a Canandaigua tennis sweatshirt on, he said to me, "Can you just expedite the tennis court?" And it was at the academy, and I said, "Sorry, buddy, it's just not gonna happen for you, it's not in the cards." And he said, "Well, can I come back and use it after I graduate?" I said, "Yeah, of course, we want you to, come and use it." And so, it'll be really, really beautiful stuff, but it takes time, and it's never like a straight line start to finish. There's always detours that you have to navigate along the way, but we have a great team to get us there, and a lot of people help guide us. So, I didn't know if there was any questions about RPO or capital project from anybody on the board, or Macy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a consensus agenda and supplemental. I'll ask for motions for the second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? That carries unanimously. Thank you. You're going to report out for audit, Jen? Thank you.
Yes, I'm replacing, a core replacement for Bill Johnson, who is not here. I hear he's finishing up, some final presentations with the students. So the audit committee met on Friday, and I want to preface this by giving another compliment. Matt Fitch over there is fantastic. I think he should manage everyone's budget, not just the school's. The primary, part of the agenda was looking at long-range planning of our budgeting, making some 4-year estimates to understand where we are going as a district over the next several years and what that looks like for us and being able to plan for managing our systems. I'll say that it is always an eye-opening experience to walk through those numbers with Matt. I really appreciate that he is very conservative in his predictions, and having been on the audit committee for several years, he gives me a great deal of comfort based on what he tells us. So, you know, we are spending a pretty significant amount in our capital reserves for this capital project, but it's also due to Matt's planning and board's planning that that's not going to be an issue, because that's what reserves are for. We have some challenges, just like everybody else. Health insurance is going to go up about 10% for our district. Do I have that right?
We don't know the number yet, but yeah, that's the number we used in that estimate, was 10%.
Okay. Thank you. Another note, the governor has pulled back on her suggestion about changing hold harmless on state aid, which for the next year is good news. We also examined the exemptions that the district has for folks with disabilities and seniors that have modest incomes. And, we recommend at this point of staying the course with those. Not every district has those exemptions, we do. And I think that that's something to be proud of as a district that we were able to do that. So, is there anything else that I missed, Matt?
Oh, we covered all of it.
All right,
Great.
that's it.
Thank you, Jen. And then I'll report out on policy. We have two first readings. The first is symbols to reflect our new logo, branding, trademark, etc. And the second is student awards and scholarships, which we cleaned up to reflect practice. Questions? Great. Let's see, CIE, that is that you? Julianne.
So we met, We met last Wednesday, and we heard a presentation about a new course in the music department of the academy called Modern Band. Every time they present, I just want to go back and take the next course. And this one I could take because you actually, the beauty of it is that you can walk in with no experience whatsoever and be playing music in a small ensemble on day one. Guitar, drums, piano, and vocals, if my memory serves. And it's just our music department really thinking about how to appeal to and share music with more students. So right now there's about 25% of our students in music programs, and that's really high for a school, but they would love to see it be higher. And the beauty of this course is it brings in different styles of music that we're not currently doing as much in our traditional ensembles. And again, doesn't require any prior knowledge. So for kids who, for a variety of reasons, may not have been able to start with instrumental music in elementary school or even in early middle school, they can pick it up in high school. And it doesn't assume a lot of outside practicing. So again, makes it more accessible for kids who have a variety of other commitments or may need to work or don't have a situation where they have space at home to practice. And I just really appreciate how they're always thinking about the diverse needs of our students as they think about more and more ways to serve them. So that course was approved. Doesn't mean it will run, of course, but hopefully it will be there at some point as an option. And then we were just informed of some name changes to science courses that were driven by NICEAD changes. This wasn't anything we had to act on. And then we heard an update on professional development and how the one-to-one professional development is going extremely well, and it was really wonderful, especially to hear about how many of our different administrators and educators are working together as a team to put that in place, especially around some of our learning around AI administrators at both the academy and the middle school who are helping with that. And just more and more courses continuing to be developed.
Great, thank you.
Well, Julianne just prompted me when she talked about band. We had quite the band experience last week, where Mr. Fitch really showed his percussion skills. As you may have heard, the New York State Teachers Union President, Melinda Person, visited Canandaigua, which is, a rare thing to have the New York State Teachers Union President visit a school. She came here for really a specific reason. Our reputation as a district, in terms of how we operate with negotiations and collective bargaining and kind of relations with those unit leaderships is a positive one. That's not to say we don't disagree on things, and there are difficult times and conversations to be had, because there are, naturally, but we always go into those conversations with positive intent and with trying to keep professionalism at the very top of our focus. And so, we've kind of developed this reputation for having a strong culture in that regard, and our teachers union and everybody, not everybody, but a lot of other unit members also chime in with this and make donations, and we collect quite a bit of money each year that goes into our community to help those in need. And so, she came for that purpose, and we spent time in every building. First went to the tech classrooms at the academy to see some things that are happening in the tech classrooms. Then we went to the middle school, to the coffee shop to see kind of that work experience for some of our students in our 12-1-1 programs that was talked about earlier. And so interacting with the students there. And then we went to the primary elementary school and went to drum club We all got on stage with about 20 or 30 students in drum club, and we got to perform with them. You know, they really taught us. It was honestly probably the most fun I've had in weeks, if not months. It was amazing. Beth,
It was fun.
you were there, so yeah.
There's nothing more humbling than sitting next to a fourth grader who says, "You're doing it wrong."
We commonly ask the students, "Is this right?"
Yeah.
Got this. But it was intimidating. You had to perform by yourself on that round piece a few times in front of everybody. And it was a little bit unnerving. Mr. Fitch, what'd you think? You loved it? Yeah. You was into it. You was grooving.
Can I just add, I didn't realize the history of the drum club, and how cool is it, and talk about out of the box thinking, that they came up with this during COVID, because you didn't have to be blowing on somebody 6 feet apart. And I just think it's the coolest thing that out of the ick of COVID came drum club, and now they have 60 kids that stay after school, 2 different semesters, and a waiting list, and it warmed my heart.
It was awesome. And I think it's safe to say the president of the teachers union was very impressed with our school district, as he should be. So it was a proud moment. That's it.
Great, thank you for mentioning that, to do that. Okay, happy holidays, everybody, and we'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Jen?
Don't ask us twice.